Hey, welcome back. I am Sheila and we are aging joyfully. And I have my sweet friend here today. Her name is Ty, and she's going to be talking to us about her business venture, a project that is near and dear to her heart, something that is important to her that I would have never thought of doing. Like these are things that just don't cross my mind, which is why I'm bringing experts in to give us some guidance on some fun new stuff. And I love what she has to say. I love what she sells. I've indulged in what she sells many a time and can highly recommend it. And I love her journey and I love her attitude and I love the passion that she has for what she's doing. And so, without further ado, I'm going to just turn some time over to you, Ty,
Thank
and have
you.
you
Thanks so
tell us,
much.
yeah,
Yeah.
what is it you do? What is passionate to you? Like what tell us about this fun business that you do.
So I'm just as surprised, that I do what I do because I never anticipated this whatsoever. Never thought I would start a business, never had an interest in starting a business until I did. And then yeah, I have a story about how I got into that, how I made the decision, but what I sell is actually chocolate. And
Yeah, like who doesn't want some of that?
right? What
Yeah.
could be better than chocolate?
What?
But my story as to how I got into that and why, um, I'm going to share that. So my business is called Seek Chocolate Shop, and the name kind of gives reference to the fact that I am seeking for chocolate, and so it's not just any chocolate, and I'll get to that, but. Uh, the easiest place, should I talk about my Instagram
Yeah,
now
yeah.
or at
Tell
the end?
everybody. Yeah, no,
Okay.
tell everybody where they can find you.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at Seek Chocolate Shop. SeekChocolateShop.com is the website, and I have a YouTube coming soon, where I highlight cacao farmers because that's important to me. But so to tell my story, we're going to back up just a little bit. Before I started my business, it was fall of 2021, beginning of 20, not 2021, fall of 2019. I can't do math. It's fall of 2019, beginning of 2020, that I was just struggling a lot in life. I felt very alone, very misunderstood. I felt like I wanted to personally disappear. Uh, and I was just in this really dark place for personal reasons. And I think anyone who finds themselves in a place like that uh, understands that there's a lot to be grateful for, there's a lot to be hopeful for, but sometimes because of circumstances, you just get overwhelmed with the darkness and just all of that. And so that's where I was at. And I've had a depression and anxiety since the time I guess I got diagnosed when I was 16, and so that's been a struggle in my life. But I kind of felt like I had a handle over that, and every once in a while would get really down, but knew what kind of coping skills I could use to get out of that dark place. But then when circumstances happened that I really didn't know how to handle and were so hurtful that I just stayed in that dark place for a really long time, and the coping skills didn't work so well. And anyways, so that kind of sets the stage for where I was at in my life right then. And yet I was still homeschooling my kids, which I've been doing for years and years, and doing the very best I could there. But just deep inside, just feeling a lot of this pain and anguish and you know a general darkness in my life. I still believed in God, still do, but some things you just need to go through, I suppose. And so while I was homeschooling my kids, we started to study in depth people and places and cultures, and that led us to the library a lot and to lots of other resources. But we also found documentaries to watch, and I found books to read. But some of the documentaries So my journey didn't start by finding chocolate and saying, "Hey, I want to sell chocolate." Some of them led us to just kind of start to understand a lot of the injustice that there is in the way that our things are made, our clothing, our shoes, and any manner of lots of other things. And so I kind of honed in on clothing and remembered why I like to buy clothing at thrift stores. So I'm repurposing because there's a story behind that item of clothing that was made, and there's a lot of people who are not paid a living wage for the clothes that they make. So um, lacking that, when it's a living wage, you're getting enough pay for just your basic necessities, not even things that you want. And a lot of the people who make our clothes aren't making enough for even that living wage. And so I kind of taught my kids, why we go thrift store shopping, but also why it's a good idea to look into companies and try to find companies that care enough to empower people. And but as I was in that place,
I'm just
yes,
saying, I think that's so great, right? Empowering all of us, and nothing should hold us back. We are here in America at this point in time, and we are free and we are able to do things, but not everybody has that luxury of living in America and the freedom to empower themselves. So I love that she is helps, works with organizations that help to empower those who can't empower themselves.
yeah, for sure. And at this point, I hadn't thought of starting a business. It was just something my kids and I were learning a lot about, and just thinking about, hey, what's our part in this? Like, what can we do? And just asking those questions. And then I personally remembered, it brought me back to a memory of when I was maybe somewhere between 18 and 20 years old. And I went to a museum and there was a chocolate exhibit set up. And I remember going through the exhibit. Nothing really stood out to me besides just remembering that it was about chocolate until the very end of this exhibit. There was this sign that basically explained that um, throughout history, when people have enjoyed chocolate, it's been slaves for the most part who have been the farmers on those farms. And I just like that stood out to me, but I didn't really know what to do about it. Of course, that's sad.
And
And
that's all over the world, right? Like,
yeah,
where is chocolate or cacao like harvested
so
mostly?
it grows anywhere around the equator, 20 degrees north or south of the equator. But it's, as far as I understand, it hasn't been common knowledge that it could grow in all those places for a very, like, a super long time. And so like traditionally, like, well, when Cortez discovered the Aztecs, they were in South America, and that's where cacao was first discovered, and he brought it back to the Spaniards. But then, as deforestation happened there, they would just try growing cacao in different places, and then would destroy the land there, and it wouldn't grow well, and it would really deplete the soil, and you couldn't grow it anymore. So then, anybody who grew it, first of all, seemed to be exploited. And now, after a lot of these places have been exploited and people exploited, and some people live in places where their ancestors farmed cacao, but maybe they don't know how now. Um, but now most of it is happening along the Ivory Coast. Not most of the cacao farming, but most of the slavery and trafficking that happens in, as far as I understand, in the cacao world. So, but there are cacao farms throughout the world, and 20 degrees north and south of the equator. So as I just kept doing research, it hadn't occurred to me to start a business. I just really personally wanted to find chocolate that I felt good about eating, that I felt like I was empowering cacao farmers somewhere in the world, and so I was just researching, and then I had just this tiniest spark of an idea. What if I started a business?
And isn't that scary? Like,
Yes.
how many of you have wanted to start a business,
Yeah.
had a spark, and didn't do anything about it?
Uh,
So it's scary. We all know it's scary. So
right. Well, and
good
I
job.
I realized that my two of my biggest fears in life are equally success and failure. And maybe a lot of people have that in common with me. I'm willing to say it out loud. Like, it's still just as scary to think, well, if I'm successful, then then I've got to figure out what to do to be successul. Like I
We got
don't.
to learn more and more and more.
And that's a good thing, but it's scary.
Yeah.
And if I'm a failure, then I'm going to try something, and people are going to. What if they see me fall flat on my face and I don't know what I'm doing? But as I kept thinking about that, I came to the thought of, well, what if I try, and what if I just help one person? What if I help empower one person in the cacao community? Would it be worth it? And the answer, whenever I thought about that, was yes. And I don't care whether people judge me for trying something and failing and looking like I don't know what I'm doing. And I also, I've been to a lot of therapy because I think therapy is helpful. And
Therapy is good.
yes, and I was thinking about just how I felt like growing up. It was, and even as a young adult, even for a lot of my adult life, I just struggled so much with decisions. When my kids were little, I would wonder, do I spend some time cleaning the house, or do I take these kids to the park? And I would get so paralyzed that I'd sit on my couch and have no idea what to do.
And not do anything, right?
And yeah, and that's frustrating because you want to do something, and then you wish you'd taken your kids to the park because your house is a mess anyways,
Yeah,
right?
right. We've all been there, yeah.
Right.
To a certain degree, we've all been
Yeah,
there.
it's a struggle, and
Yeah.
but at that time period, I had quite a bit of therapy because I was struggling, as I said, more than usual, and I was talking to my therapist about just like, well, what if I do this, and what if I fail? How do I do this? And she introduced the concept of wanting something enough that you know your why, you don't know how, but you see this bigger picture. And my bigger picture was a little bit splotchy because I didn't know what it was going to look like. And she said, it's like you're driving a car at night. You know where you want to go, but you can only see the next turn in front of you. And I really needed to hear that because sometimes we don't know how. We know our why, and we know how passionate we are about something, and you just figure it out as you go. Because I didn't know much about business, didn't know exactly what to do, so I decided to just start and try to help at least that one person. And what if it's more? That I just thought that would be really great if I could help empower these cacao farmers. And I started in the fall of 2020, still continued to just be in this dark place personally. But I feel like I've found a way to come out of that, and chocolate really helped. Not
Chocolate.
right. I mean, why wouldn't chocolate help, right? But chocolate can be really delicious. But the fact that I knew that I was helping to empower people on cacao farms really meant a lot to me. And the connections that I've made, the people that I know now. At first, I was because of the knowledge that I had at the time, I was the only chocolate that I knew of that I felt was ethical and empowering was a chocolate that had the fair trade label. And I have since learned that I don't know if all fair trade companies, like how they all work, but that's a certification and a label that chocolate companies and cacao farmers pay for to get that stamped on their bar. And I've found companies that don't pay for that label, but go way above and beyond what the fair trade certification qualifications are and the pay. And especially along the Ivory Coast or in Africa, even the extra pay that the farmers get from fair trade or the fair trade companies who say they pay more, it's still not enough to get them even out of poverty. And so that was
So you can't always just trust the label,
right.
right?
So
Like,
that was
is that what you
concerning.
found?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You've got to dig deeper. You've got to look deeper. And so it's been a journey for me to figure out how to do that, because I didn't start out by proclaiming that I was an expert at this. I just was a person who wanted to help and empower people and didn't know how. But when you know why, you're going to figure out how.
The why helps. And that's what they do tell you to figure out your why.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully, because I'm just starting and have ideas and I have great people in my life, but the why is just to help maybe one person,
Yeah.
with whatever thing. So that is a good place to start. If we can help one person, we can change the life of one person. If we can improve one person's life, it's hopefully worth it.
Yeah, I think it's
So,
definitely worth
and
it.
then we can be taught, right?
Yes.
We can be taught.
Yes. And so through my journey, I thought, well, what if I start some chocolate subscriptions that people can enjoy?
So,
And
what is a subscription?
so I have two different chocolate subscriptions that I've started, and I put together the chocolate in those, but I can also do custom subscriptions. Or if you see a bar or a chocolate item that you really don't care to try, you can reach out and we can just switch it out for something you would enjoy. You can message me on Instagram or contact me through my website. But it's usually 4 items in each subscription, sometimes a fifth one, depending on the value of the chocolate that's in the subscriptions. But I have lots of different companies now in my shop that I feel really good about the ethical sourcing of. And I'm honestly constantly adding new ones.
Constantly.
Yes.
I see her all the time. Like, I've got a new bar. I've got a new who like a company that you're working with, and
Yeah. Well, and just last month, I got 2 bars in, and this is becoming more common where I'm the only company in the US that carries their bars. And so that's been really exciting. One from the UK, one from Canada, but well, also actually 3, because one from Venezuela, a different company from Venezuela. And so that's it's just been really fun. And these are companies that often people really haven't heard of, and yet these companies really care about the cacao sourcing and working super close with farmers or with cooperatives that are on the ground working with the farmers. So let me show you the subscriptions that I have coming up for April. But
yeah. And wait till you see this beautiful packaging. Like, this is not your typical foil wrapped Hershey bar.
right.
This is beautiful, silky chocolate. And I had a cheat day. If anybody knows, I'm working on my carnivore diet, but my daughter had her birthday a couple weeks ago and I had a cheat day. And I shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm gonna, like, she had some Cadbury eggs and I had a couple. And I was like, no, if I'm gonna eat chocolate, it's not gonna be waxy, cheap. I went and grabbed one of my stash of a beautiful chocolate bar.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to cheat, if I'm going to have a cheat day, it's better be worth it. And you can tell a difference once you've tried really good, lovely chocolate that and feeling good about where it's sourced, feeling good about how it's made.
Mm-hmm.
You won't go back.
Right. It's just yeah. And I didn't know that that chocolate that tasted this good existed. I really didn't know.
I didn't know tell her either. I haven't tried all of these, but let's show her. You
Yes.
show them the
So
beautiful chocolates she's got.
so fun. So I put chocolate in my subscription to introduce new companies that I have in my shop, but also I bring back popular favorites that I know people will enjoy having again here and there in the subscriptions. So this one, I have one subscription is a combination of milk and dark chocolate for people who, just they like both. So in that combination subscription for the month of April, I sometimes I even put vegan bars in that one just because some of them are so good that I want you to experience that. And so this is the Organic House that's new to my shop from Canada. And this is a vegan white chocolate bar that's lemon sea salt, and it really blows my mind how good it is.
Yeah.
So good. And then Rhyme and Reason is also new to the shop. They make their chocolate in North Carolina, and they just opened their chocolate shop last fall, I believe, and reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, can you add your my chocolate to your shop?"
To your shop.
Yes. And this is an artisan milk chocolate bar, 42% from the cacao's from Ecuador, and it says with full cream milk. So you definitely want that in your milk and dark subscription. And then this is an very interesting bar by Fossa Chocolate. I thought because it's the month of Easter and all things spring that I get something that has a cute little picture of an egg. So salted egg cereal is the flavor of this one. And I haven't actually tried it yet, but I'm so excited to. So that's fun. And I'm looking at ingredients. I'm like, oh yeah, what's in this one? Okay, let me just tell you. Cacao butter, milk powder, sugar, salted duck egg yolk, cereal, and butter. And then it has curry leaves, chili, and sea salt. And it all sounds kind of interesting, somewhat odd, in my opinion, but Fossa knows how to put a combination of flavors together, and their bars are really impressive. So, But if it's not your cup of tea or your bar of chocolate, just, and you decide to subscribe, reach out and we really will just switch it out for something you would love or any of these bars. The last one in the Milk and Dark subscription is this 58% dark oat milk, and it's a blueberry milk chocolate bar. Super fun. So that's just an example of what the dark and milk chocolate subscription can look like. And that's the one that I have for April, but it changes all the time.
And like you said, you can reach out and she'll throw in whatever if something else sounds better. I have tried not all of those, but I have tried quite a few. And like the oat milk, I've tried. Oat milk's good. I've tried vegan ones.
Yeah.
The vegan ones are good. Everything I've tried has been delicious. Sometimes a dark chocolate is maybe not what I'm in the mood for.
Yeah.
But it's still beautifully made and tastes so lovely. So
Right.
I haven't had a bad bar.
Yeah, well,
I haven't tasted anything bad, and I've tasted a lot.
well, and honestly, Sheila's one of those that when she wants some chocolate, I put together just a special order of things that she would really enjoy. And I have people reach out who have never met me before that say, hey, like, can you just put together an order of chocolate that, some items that I would really love? And I ask them questions and just kind of try to narrow down what I think they would love to try. And I run it by them. And it's so fun. And sometimes they give me feedback, like, I love this one. This one wasn't like, maybe I don't want that one again, but I love this one. And so then I really take notes on each individual, because each individual who buys chocolate from my shop is just as important to me as the cacao farmers, the chocolate makers. And so I really try to make it an individual experience. So I also have every month a dark and dairy free subscription. And then I do have a third subscription that I'm coming out with soon, but I'll announce that on my Instagram and on my website when I'm ready. But I'm going to show you the dark and dairy free for the month of April. So it has a ritual chocolate bar. This company is in Utah and does a great job on their packaging, sourcing ethically. Their bars taste amazing. This is their honeycomb toffee 75% bar, which I thought would be beautiful in a spring subscription. And then here is the organic house again, and this package has what they call mini crunch bars, and they are absolutely incredible. There's like this crunchy caramel inside these beautiful chocolate bars. So there's that. And then the third item in the dark and dairy free is by Marshall and Company again, but it's an oat milk, 60%. The other one that's in the other subscription is the blueberry milk. So this one is oat milk, really creamy, really yummy. And then the Chocolate Conspiracy is here in Utah also, and this is their coconut lime bar. And their chocolate is sweetened with honey, but it's also made with raw cacao, and lots of health benefits and super delicious. So that's just an example of those two subscriptions and what's in April's.
And I love that. And you ship these, right?
Yes, I ship throughout the U.S. I also have so I have the subscriptions I ship anywhere in the US, and then if you order anything on my website, I can ship throughout the US, or if you reach out, I can put together custom orders for you. I even do at-home chocolate tasting kits. In person, I do in-person chocolate tastings around town, or travel with my chocolate as long as it's within traveling distance, which I've done in Idaho even before. But if I can, then I travel with the chocolate. But I want everyone to be able to have a chocolate tasting experience and write down notes about what flavor notes they taste in different chocolate bars. So I put those kits together and I mail them throughout the US.
So they're like little tasting sampling kits, right?
What I do is I put one together that's for about 2 to 5 people, and I just do mini bars.
Oh, okay.
So you can break it up yourself. You can eat it yourself one night, or another night by yourself, or invite a friend over, or a little group of people. Or I do slightly bigger bars for about 5 to 10 people, and then I do full-size bars if you want to have a big group of people together. So I just make it custom depending on how many people you want to get together, but it is individual bars or bags or items of chocolate that you just get to enjoy and write notes about what you loved and the different flavors that you taste in the chocolate.
And there's been flavors that I was not prepared for, or I've never tasted in my life. Yeah. The lemon in a chocolate, or a burnt butter in
So
a
good.
chocolate,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
there's some, the honey, the toffees, the everything. I It's been really a unique experience, and I've never eaten chocolate like it before. And I am now, if I do eat chocolate, it's all I want. I'm going to eat something good and high quality and be supportive of all these people that she is supporting as well. But you can't go wrong. Like,
Right.
it's just a delicious thing. So if you're in the mood to try something new, that's what you need to do. You need to have a chocolate tasting night.
There
You
you
need to
go.
have a girls' night, right?
Yes.
Let her mail you some yummy chocolates and have a little event. And gosh, how yummy! There's
Yeah.
nothing better.
Yeah.
They're all so good.
Bring your people together. And one other thing I wanted to point out is the category that this chocolate is in, like these different companies in my shop, is under the category of bean to bar or craft chocolate. So it's just a little bit. You can feel really fancy while you eat it because craft chocolate, bean to
Craft
bar.
chocolate,
It's
bean to
just
bar.
great.
I mean,
Yeah.
she has some from Switzerland, even, right?
Um.
Or if they just made in
Oh.
Switzerland? Because
So
I ate one that said Swiss chocolate
well,
on
that
it.
one was interesting because that's the Togo Swiss bar, but it's made by Pump Street, and Pump Street is in the UK. But what they did is they got beans from Togo, and their method of making that chocolate bar is supposed to bring you back to your favorite Swiss milk chocolate bar, except for it's like 1,000 times better because their methods and the beans and their quality are just so much better.
It was the best thing I've had in my life. I'm just
Yay.
gonna say, like, I shared it with a couple friends. I'm like, oh, you've got to taste this, and they're like, wait, what? Where did that come from? Like, that was beautiful. Some of the best chocolate I've ever had in my life. So, if, like I said, if I'm gonna have chocolate, I'm getting ready to go on a trip
Hmm.
with my family, and I'm ordering some of this because I'm not gonna grab gas station chocolate
Right.
ever
Yes.
again.
She's
Like, you
good.
get spoiled with good stuff. So
Yeah.
when I have a cheat, I'm gonna have a cheat on vacation in about a month and a half or so, and I'm ordering some to take on my trip
Right.
because if I'm gonna cheat, I'm gonna eat the best I can get.
Yeah. Stuff
The
that you
yummiest
that you
stuff in the
enjoy.
world.
Yes.
Yeah, why would I want anything less?
That's
I want
good.
the yummy stuff, so I'm placing an order.
Yay. And I'll get it together.
And she'll
It'll
get it
it'll
for
be
me.
just what you want.
Yeah,
Yes.
that'll be so good.
Cool. So having this business has been a beautiful journey for me, and I can see firsthand that my goal of empowering at least one person, I've fulfilled that goal, and I'm so thankful. It makes me feel fulfilled, and I've not just empowered one person. In anything we do in our life, we can start by saying, "Can I serve one person? Can I make a difference for one person?" And then you will, if your heart is in it, and then you will find more people that you want to help, and it'll work if it's something that you want to do.
And how do you feel? Like, because you started kind of in a dark place. I mean, and not that we don't all still struggle, go back to some dark places now and then, but has this empowered you? Like, how are you feeling?
It really has. I am growing in confidence. I still have my struggles, because everybody does.
Yeah.
I still struggle with, some anxiety, depression, have a panic attack here or there in my life. But this is I had a lot of purpose already because I've believed in God for a long time. But when you get in those dark places, sometimes you need a bigger purpose outside yourself. And when I've been really down and just didn't know how to keep going, I was like, oh man, I've got subscriptions that I need to mail, or oh, my husband and I, like, one thing that really unites us right now is we want to learn how to make our own bean to bar chocolate, and get our beans from farmers. And like, oh, I've got to stick around and live for that. And so because I went in such a dark place that there were times I didn't know how I was going to stick around, whether I was going to stay, whether I'd still be alive. And I'm thankful that it's given me a reason to keep going, and I've grown in confidence as I've figured out how to do some of this business stuff, and some of it I'm still figuring it out. But it's taught me that if something's important enough, that I can figure it out, I can learn how to ask for help, and that yeah, I'm growing in confidence too, and I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah, and I love that too. I think anything we do that makes us feel good and gives us purpose is a really nice thing. No matter
Yeah.
how old we are.
Right.
Like she's not 50 yet. So
No.
don't let me fool you. No, she's just 40 something and she just did this I think like right before you were 40. Is that kind of what you're saying that you're
Yes. Hmm.
so I mean still starting a business when you're 40, like we can do this.
Yeah.
We can make a change in our life. We can do something that we feel powerful about or something that pulls at us and something like just helping the one person. And you just stumble upon the most interesting things like chocolate. Like
Right.
I have not stumbled on chocolate in my life, but this beautiful person is teaching her girls and her son and stumbled on chocolate farmers and how that was not an ethical situation at the time. And she wants to make a difference. So if we just want to make a difference in our lives and in anything, we can do it. And I love that. And thank you for coming and sharing your lovely story and being here with me. She's my first she's my first video with another live person besides myself. And I've got a lot of people lined up. There's some neat people in the world, but I'm so thankful that my sweet friend Ty is here to be my first.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and go to her Instagram page. One more time, what was your Instagram page?
Seek Chocolate Shop.
Seek Chocolate Shop at Secret. Whoa, at Seek Chocolate Shop.
Yes, go follow it so you can keep up on anything I add to the shop or what's going on. Yes.
Yes, and she'll show you some of her beautiful chocolate tasting events that she has. You can see all these different chocolates that she adds to her shop. It's a beautiful, ongoing, growing business, and I am very fortunate and blessed that we can support her. And thank you for being here today. And we'll be back with another fun guest next time. Until then, age joyfully.
Yes.
Enjoy your life and check us out next time. See ya.
See you.